Welcome to my channel. This is a vlog series. It's kind of like a sub series of chit chat because I'm probably gonna have some guests as I kind of move around. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Cornelia. I'm a talk show host and producer, and I create content for women, human interest stories. We talk about relationships, we talk about life, and this vlog series is pretty much giving you guys a little bit more of me, a little bit more of my opinions on life issues. I'm going to share some of my experiences and some of my thoughts on the way society is evolving and how we have to kind of take time out for self-care, because oftentimes I think that we are running on low. We're burnt out. It's such a culture of what's next. Everybody wants to be on the next thing. Everybody wants to be black girl magicking. Everybody wants to be big girl bossing. It's like, it's such a crowded marketplace, and how do you stand out and still be talented and still be somewhat relevant and still be aspirational in a marketplace where everybody just wants to do something? So today's topic is shifting the culture of living the dream. I do believe that a lot of people are going into this, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to do my own thing. In fact, I've heard I want to do my own thing so many times this year, it's unbelievable. Or I'm just doing my own thing, and I think that life on the other side, on the doing your own thing side, has its ups and downs. In fact, I think it has more downs than ups when you're going through the process. So I kind of want to give it a double title of what you do when you don't know what you want to do, or when you're doing your own thing. I think it's a lot of misconceptions about being a creative. It took me a long time to be able to say I am a talk show host and producer, because I've only kind of worked on 2 projects, but I have given that title even in my learning process. So I think defining what you do can be very intimidating when maybe it's something that doesn't have a blueprint, or something that hasn't really been done before. It's very difficult to explain to people, oh, you're a talk show host, who do you work for? You don't work for BET, you don't work for channels, you don't work for, like, you know, a network. So how are you, who validates you being a talk show host? Well, I do. I've produced my own show, and I previously worked on another show with Ndani TV, which is a digital channel online. You should check it out. It was called Ndani Real Talk, season 1. So the first thing, I have about 7 or 8 points. I'm going to try and go through them as quickly as possible. The first thing I want to say is nothing is going to come by magic. So when you don't know what you want to do, it's not going to come by you just sitting down. For instance, if you like to cook and you don't want to open a restaurant, like, what you want to do with your passion is not going to just come. You can't just sit waiting for it. It's not going to be like, oh, one day. I don't like when people say, oh, I'm living the dream. Yes, you're living a dream, but some of it is intentional. So everybody used to say to me, oh, Cornelia, you should so have a talk show, or you should take this thing into a talk show. I already had in mind being behind the cameras because I studied film and media, but I never really had, I was a bit shy. I just really don't feel like I was thirsty to be in front of the camera. But I landed into it because I started writing, and it didn't even come the way I wanted it to come. So I landed into the so-called dream. I think sometimes if you're just consistent at doing something, it can lead you into other things. So that burning bush, I'm waiting for Moses, is not going to happen where you just wake up one day and decide. For some people maybe it does, but it doesn't happen by magic. I think if you want to cook and you don't want to open a restaurant, you might want to think of all the other things that you can do with cooking. So do you want to create hotel menus? Do you want to curate menus? Do you want to start a vlog? Is this something you want to only do on Saturdays and just see how you feel and see where that passionate content that you're releasing puts you? Because you never know, somebody might see your vlog, somebody might see a recipe that you made and want to use you for other things. So I think that the dream might come once you put yourself out there first, and opportunities will then pull to you. So I think that it's not just going to be a one day I'm going to wake up and you know what you want to do. No, sometimes you have to try your hand at different things. You actually really do have to show up. And second thing is, dreams are fickle. Reality is a whole different thing. You can say you want to cook, but you got bills to pay. And then your dream, or what you want to do, the doing your own thing doesn't really make you money. So you kind of have to think of what's important to you. If financial stability is important to you, man, think about it well, because there's never enough to save for you to say, okay, I've saved this much, now I'm going to go and live the dream. I think you have to be ready to go broke. Now, I'll talk about being broke in another episode, because being broke is real. It's embarrassing. It's a thing of shame. You want to hide. You feel like, man, I can't go out. Every time anybody asks you to go out, it's like, man, no, or who is paying? You know. So I think when you decide to live the dream, you have to understand that reality is a whole different thing, and you have to decide what is more important to you. I like financial stability, but I can give it up for what I like to do, because I think that I'm being fulfilled by creating content that speaks to people and inspires people to not live a conventional life. If a 9 to 5 is not for you and you're single and you can move around, baby girl, move around. I don't think that you should sit down, be stifled, and just let life suck you dry. Like I said, one of the reasons why I've decided to live life was because my mom died at 43. And I think about, I'm 33, and what have I done with my life? My mom had 3 kids, raised 3 kids. She not been around the world, traveled. She studied English, but she ended up just, you know, going into business. I think my mom was like an interior designer. She was into fashion. She sold like a bunch of things. So my mom was a hustler. She was always on the go. And I just feel like in my 33 years, me would see marry, me would see be more. One thing has to look right. At least let the career be looking on the up. Yeah, the third one is, it's not going to feel lavish when you're figuring it out, and that's just sort of piggybacking off of reality. It's not going to feel lavish. You're going to be uncomfortable. I've been on somebody else's couch just because I'm saving on rent. There are tough decisions that you have to make, but you have to actually make these choices. I think one of the most difficult things to make are hard, critical life decisions. I just don't like making life decisions. It's like, okay, do I move to a country? I'm bored of this country, and this country no longer works for me, or this country is stifling me or shrinking me. I just feel like I wake up every morning and I'm like, I have no inspiration. Like, I just don't want to move. I just want to be in bed all day and just eat. Right? That's just not an inspiring life. Or you're just tired of fighting. Everything is hard. Like, I find that in Lagos, everything is hard to do. It exhausts you, it empties you, and it's very difficult to find inspiration. I mean, currently I'm vlogging from Grenada, and there's so much inspiration around me. Just even walking on the street, so much greenery. I don't want to have to travel to like somewhere in Lagos to get the inspiration. I just want to be inspired. Sometimes I am inspired by the hustle though. Lagos is a hustle, but sometimes it can really suck you dry. So it's not going to feel lavish when you're trying to go on your own. You're trying to get people to, you know, recognize you. It can be daunting, and then I think that also creates fear. That's where I think faith comes in, and truly believing in yourself. Because if you're looking for other people to validate you, maybe you share your idea with somebody and they shut you down, it doesn't feel good, or they start asking you questions that you're not even ready for. Because I know people are here, so what are you? So they are already in 2019. No, I'm just gonna take my small portions and portion control it. And what was it that one of my guests said? Find the minimum viable product, the very thing that you can start with now, and don't let the enormity of your dream discourage you, because sometimes you don't have a blueprint. Start with one thing, cross off one thing, and just put one foot in front of the other and keep going. For instance, when I wanted to start Chick Chat, I knew I needed a studio. I knew I needed to, you know, refurbish the studio. I knew I needed to do so many other things, but I did them in stages. So to be honest, that project was probably over a year in the making in terms of in my mind. And by the time it came together, it still wasn't perfect, but I did it. But it wasn't the dream. There was a bit of reality in there. In that I had to win some, lose some, because I didn't get everything I wanted, but at least I put the project together and it happened. I want to kind of try and describe this living the dream with putting on your big girl panties. The big girl panties are the ugly panties that you love to wear. You wear it on your period, but it has holes in it. So the dream is kind of like the big girl panties. It's what you love to wear. It's your comfort zone. It's something you just naturally are attracted to, but it has holes and it's tattered. So the dream comes with some tatters too. Your circle doesn't inspire you to grow. You realize that you have people around you that maybe just don't get it. they don't get what it is you're trying to do. You're explaining, it's just falling flat. They're looking at you like, oh, okay, it sounds good, or they'll say something that will cause you to doubt. That is also a form of sabotage, and I realized that I need to stop sharing as much as I do, because one little seed of doubt actually can rot the entire bunch of apples. Like, people have just a way of saying things in the subtlest way, or you might feel it shit. Even you too, maybe your insecurities with the whole thing, when they say something, you read it the way you're not supposed to read it. So if there are people around you that don't inspire you to grow, don't have certain conversations with people. I believe in portion controlling people. Part of living a healthy life is portion controlling people, and this is something I learned from Tracy G. She's one of my inspirational quote sort of people. She does affirmations, and I'll put her link in the bio as well. I think isolating yourself, again, there goes those big girl panties, they're tattered. It's not a very good feeling when you have to isolate yourself from people you love or people that you've had long-term relationships with. It just doesn't feel good. I feel bad, but you have to kind of self-care and self-nurture and do what works for you. Whatever, when it comes to your own emotional well-being and your emotional health, no one else matters but you. So if you feel a certain way about somebody, pay attention to those feelings, and if you need to cap them, then cap them. If you need to portion control them, then portion control them. But nobody should do the this one we haven't seen you, you know, you're an entrepreneur now, businesswoman, you don't show us love anymore. Oh yeah, I'm busy. I mean, you don't need to say that, but in my mind I'm thinking, yeah, I'm busy. Or for the people who are genuinely hurt, you understand it. You can't. I don't think it's necessary to communicate, but you know, when love comes back if it's a genuine relationship. So yeah, that's that. If your circle does not inspire you to grow, you need to change your circle, or you need to kind of isolate yourself before you find a new circle. But another thing is to believe that you have the potential. A lot of times I doubted myself. I didn't think I was Oprah, or I was ready to be a host. And I knew I could talk. I knew I liked to ask questions. I knew I liked to ask the right kind of questions. I knew I could moderate discussion. I knew I was good at certain things, but I didn't believe in my own potential. And I think that because people had told me, oh, you're good at this, you're believing what everybody else says. But when you don't own it, there are other people that I watch and I'm like, yes, this girl is owning her shit. Like, yes, go out there and just own it, because no one else is going to own it for you. Like, no one else is going to hype you up. Yeah, you might have some best friends that hype you up, but people don't hype you up like you hype yourself. And there's just something that attracts when you own your talent, when you walk on a stage and people know, yes. Like, I mean, Oprah even has I'm Oprah Winfrey, I'm Oprah. She has her own thing. Everybody has their own unique talent and unique selling point. So believe in your own unique selling point, because that grows. And even when you believe in it, when it's mustard seed, it is going to evolve. So even though I was so-called good at being a host, I need to get better. I need to hone that craft. But it doesn't mean I'm not good at being a host, or I'm not, you know, at all, what's the word, I don't have any potential. You need to nourish and harness and educate yourself and, you know, hone your skill. The last thing is when it comes to approaching people. So I find that, you know, you have to kind of build your network and put yourself out there and attend conferences, and you don't always want to do it, because I think the networking thing is, you know, doesn't necessarily have to be at a conference. You can network on Instagram or social media by just maybe being friendly and liking the person's picture and just supporting the person in a not so stalkerish way. But I think that social media makes you psychoanalyze people because they've already put a lot of themselves out there, so you can basically prejudge them or anticipate what they're going to be like. If you know that somebody out there can help you with something, I don't believe that you should I don't think that we should prejudge what their reaction is going to be when we come to them for help. There are people I know that can help me, but maybe I'm not ready. I've kind of filed my contacts into different categories. I'm like, it's not really time to meet this person because I'm not really at the point where they can help me. So don't be so happy and so eager that you contact people at the wrong time when you actually don't know exactly what it is you want them to do. And you have to approach people based on their personality and go straight to what it is that you want. Don't take somebody else's testimony, because If, for instance, Oprah can help me, and I've heard that Oprah has attitude, well, let me have my experience with Oprah first before I wrap it up, because people will tell you things about people, and when you meet the person, it's a completely different experience. Or maybe the way they approach the person. If the person's an email person, find out, email the person. When you email the person, go straight to the point. Hello, hope this meets you well. Like, there's suggestions on how you can kind of, you know, charm offensive, you know, charm them, not too much. I really do support what you're about. I've always admired you greatly, and I admire your work ethic. There's certain words that you can use that are still nice words, because I do feel like we should be able to compliment people, but you're not begging, friend. You know, you're not begging for attention, like, oh, hey, I do this, I make hair and I make bags, and then you're emailing Oprah. Oprah gets free clothes, or she has a styling budget. Okay, yeah, send it to her stylist. You don't need to contact Oprah for that. So I think that approaching people based on their personality, so that you don't get capped and not taking the negative words that people have said about people and using that to judge the person, and then you don't email that person, or then you feel you don't want to approach the person because you've heard so many negative things about that person. I've been guilty of that, and I think we need to stop that, because it does hinder you. So living the dream is not as glamorous and glorious as everybody makes it. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. There's so many takes. This is one take though. I'm gonna just let y'all know that I did this in one take. But sometimes I have to do like 2 or 3 takes. So you're going to have to give yourself a chance. And manifestation is waiting for your arrival. You have to show up. Same way I just pushed the record button on this vlog. Show up for yourself, because no one else is going to show up for you. So if you've enjoyed this, do subscribe to the tribe. Hit the subscribe button. I promise we won't spam you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys maybe not next week, but the week after. Bye for now.